Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel and this second part of the Ultimate Slug Challenge. In the first part of the Slug Challenge I was testing the slugs in the 16 grain range, so today I'm testing the slugs in the 13 grain range. I'm testing 4 different kinds of slugs, and those are the 12.5 grainers from NSA, the 13 grainers from H&N, 13 grainers from SAN, and the 13.43 grain JSB Knockout. I'm testing them all here at my magnificent range at 100 yards, and the gun that I'm using for the test is my FX Impact M4 with a 700mm heavy liner installed. I'll perform the test by shooting 4 targets like this. So that's 4 5-shot groups on each target. That's a total of 16 groups. When I'm done with the session, I'll take the best 6 group, calculate the average group size, and thereby have a result that I can compare to the rest of the slugs in the test. All 4 slugs will be shot at different days to make sure that I have the best possible tune for each slug. I'll start out with the NSAs. I'll shoot 16 groups and show you the best one, and after the session I'll walk you through and give you my interpretation of how it went. When I've tested all 4 slugs, I'll jump into a conclusion where I will show you the result of the whole test. So make sure that you stick around for that, and in the meantime remember to hit that subscribe button right down there in the corner. So let's jump into the first slug, the 12.5 grains from NSA. I'll not go into the specific tune of my gun during this test, because my setup is probably much different from yours. I would rather that you take a look at this video and learn how to tune the gun yourself. What a start! First group of the day. Whew, that's amazing. That was an insane session. Starting out on target number 1 with the first group that I shot of the day, a 14mm group, and then following it immediately by a 19mm group. That is spectacular. Looking at all the groups right here, you can see that there's a lot of good groups, and the groups that I chose for the average group size of this test is 14, 19, 21, 15, 22 and 21 millimeters, and that's an average group size of 18.67 millimeters. That is amazing. I shot the 12.5 grains NSAs at an average velocity of around 970 feet per second. The next slug in the test is the 13 grain slug from H&N. Wow, I bow down in awe. Amazing. That was a pretty sweet little 23mm group that you saw me shooting right there. Might not seem too impressive, but still remembering that my best group with slugs in this weight range is 21mm, so maybe not that bad at all. Looking at all the groups here, you can see that the consistency is not like super good, but anyway, I did manage to push in some pretty decent groups here and there. And the groups that I chose for the average group size is groups of 26mm, 24, 23, 26, 25 and 30mm, and that's an average group size of 25.67mm. The third slug of this test is the 13 grain slug from San. Okay. That was a pretty sweet little 17mm group right there, and it's actually my best group ever with the 13 grainers here at 100 yards. If you're wondering about the group just above it, which also says 17 but with a line through it, it's because when I came back and watched the video, the fifth shot actually missed the target completely. So sitting here watching it, it looked like two 17mm groups in a row, and I was kind of ecstatic, but then watching the footage, it showed out that it was just one. But anyway, 17mm group, that's pretty good. Looking at all the targets here, you can see that there's a big difference between the group sizes here, and that's because I was struggling quite a lot with the velocity along the way. So shooting a 17mm group and immediately after a 41, that tells me that there is something that I had to sort out. So I did that by shooting a lot of siders, so the session here was actually much longer than I really wanted it to be. But anyway, the best 6 groups that I made right here was 26, 26, 22, 17, 29 and 33mm, and that's an average group size of 25.5mm. And now let's jump into the last slug of the day, also being the heaviest slug, weighing in at 13.43 grain, the JSB Knockout. Very nice little group. And what a beautiful little 17mm group you just saw me shooting here. Looking at all the groups, you can see that the session went pretty well. Of course, there are some groups that are bigger than others, but all in all, I would say that it's pretty respectable, considering that my best group up till now with the knockouts has been a 22mm group, or 21, I can't really remember. But taking the average group size of the 6 best groups, the groups that I took was 23, 23, 21, 17, 20 and 22mm, and that's an average group size of 21mm. And considering that my best group so far has been 21-22 millimeters with the knockouts, I would say that this is very, very respectable. I shot the knockouts with an average velocity of 967 feet per second. I'll jump right into it and present you with the result of the 13 grainers in this Ultimate Slug Challenge. And remember that the purpose of this test was to see how slugs perform in this setup of my M4 with the 700mm heavy liner installed. The winner of the test was definitely the 12.5 grainers from NSA. They had an average group size of 18.67 millimeters, which is absolutely astonishing. They had the best group at 14 millimeters. Second place of this test goes to the JSB Knockouts, and they had an average group size of 21 millimeters, and the best group that I shot with those was a 17 millimeter group. Third place goes to the 13 grainers from SAN. They had an average group size of 25.5 millimeters, and the best group that I shot with those was a 17 millimeter group. Fourth place went to the 13 grainers from H&N, and they had an average group size of 25.67 millimeters, and the best group that I shot with those was a 23 millimeter group. Looking at the whole test and the slugs in the 13 grain range, I think that they did a very, very good job, because going into this test, my best group I ever shot with slugs in this weight range was a group of 22 millimeters, and with so many groups below that, and the best groups at 14 millimeters, 17, 17 and 23, I think that we can easily say that the slugs in the 13 grain range is a very good match for the 700 millimeter heavy liner. And that was the result of the second part of the Ultimate Slug Challenge. Be sure to stick around for the third part, where I test the slugs in the 20 grain range. And while we're at it, remember to hit that subscribe button right down there in the corner. So that's all I had to say. So until next time, take care and shoot safe.